Average net worth by age. Only because you may not think you're as wealthy as you think you are. Even today, it's critical to understand your existing net worth. To make sure you're on track to have adequate money later in life, it's also critical to comprehend it and evaluate it in relation to your age. When you can finally take a break from your job obligations and relax on the beach while drinking a pina colada. Make sure you have worked long enough to earn enough money to support yourself in retirement or at least your basic necessities. People often miss this tool. They live life in complete ignorance, never considering what their net worth should be at what age to ensure they're on the right road. When it's time to quit working, it frequently comes as a shock to them that they don't have enough money to sustain themselves in the lifestyle they choose or have been used to. Some people who have been working may have to drastically cut down on their lifestyle choices to suit the amount of money they have accumulated. They often regretted not paying attention to this earlier in life throughout their professional lives. This is your opportunity to check your net worth according to age to determine whether you're on track financially. And if not, you have time to attempt to make up for it. Make sure you watch the whole video before continuing, since I will also demonstrate how to achieve it. We all tend to assume that everyone we look at is doing better than us in every way as we navigate this thing called life. Unless you're aware of the average between the two things you're comparing, this is often not the case. You'll never be able to compare your life status to that of your peers. In this video, we'll examine how net worth is determined. The average net worth by age wealth breakthrough. Therefore, let's begin. First, how is net worth determined and what does it mean? When discussing celebrities like Elon Musk or Bill Gates, the media often mentions their net worth. But what does it truly mean? Officially, a company or household's net worth is the amount of money left over after all debts and assets are taken into account. Then what exactly are financial assets? A contractual right or ownership claim provides the value of a financial asset, which is a liquid asset. Examples of financial assets include cash bonds, mutual funds, and bank deposits. What are the monetary commitments? Debt is another name for financial responsibility. A contractual commitment to provide money or another financial asset to another company is known as a debt. Setting the scene is important before examining the average net worth by age. Numerous variables will determine how much money you need to survive. Where do you live? If you live in New York, unlike dining at upscale establishments, you will require more money than a person who lives in Delaware and consumes frozen meals. The pay you presently get. If you're accustomed to living a life throughout your working years in which you make hundreds of thousands of dollars annually, you're going to require more money to live on than someone who has always made the minimum wage. But this is relative since, assuming they don't spend more than they make, the individual making more money should be able to save and invest more money for the future. Knowing your net worth by age is crucial, since it will help you choose where to make expenditure reductions if you don't know if you're saving enough, or whether you're going to have enough money saved up for retirement to live the way you want to in your golden years. So how exactly is net worth determined? Your net worth is determined by adding up all your assets' values and deducting all of your debts. Your net worth is the remainder. Let's examine some net worth samples so you may understand what I mean, and so you can determine your own net worth. The first step is to list all of your financial holdings. This includes everything that is valuable, has a marketable price, and is now in cash in the bank or beneath your mattress. Examples of assets include, but are not limited to, your house, gold and silver, cash in the bank, your pension or 401k, stocks and shares, jewelry, such as an expensive watch, a vehicle if there is no loan on it, and the list goes on. But as I just said, it's practically everything you can exchange for cash. Even if you have outstanding debt from a mortgage or auto loan, a house or car might still be considered a valuable financial asset. You just consider the part of the item that has already been paid for as its worth. Let's look at an example of the assets you could now possess. Suppose you own a property with a full selling value of $650,000. You are the owner of an automobile with a full market value of $30,000. You have a completely paid for $10,000 Rolex watch. In addition to owning $2,000 worth of Tesla stock, you have $15,000 in the bank. Take your potential liabilities for instance. You are still responsible for paying down the mortgage, which is $400,000. Your auto loan balance is $33,000 at the moment. Your outstanding student loan balance is $12,000. You have credit card debt of $15,000 in total. There are $707,700 in assets altogether in your possession. There is a total of $12,000 in obligations for you. This means that your entire net worth is $235,700. That's not bad, huh? But it will depend on your age and how much money you have compared to the average. So let's examine it right now. The American Federal Reserve Board conducts a consumer finance survey every 3 years in order to gather data on family incomes and net worth. The most recent survey on consumer financing was done in 2019. And the study for 2022 is scheduled to be finished in December 2022. According to the poll, American families have an average net worth of $8,800. However, this number is not a true representation because of the millionaires and billionaires that populate America. The typical American may be someone like you, can be better understood by looking at the median value. You may breathe a sigh of relief knowing that the median net worth value for the typical American family was $130,000, a more accurate amount. How much is the average net worth by age then? Let's begin the countdown at the age of 20. You should already be working in or starting your chosen profession at this stage. A 20-year-old in America today has an average net worth of $27,129. Yes, the typical American 20-year-old surely owes $27,129 in debt. You are thus performing better than the typical American 20-year-old if you are under this debt burden at the age of 20. We then focus on those who are under 35. As you start a family, you could just be beginning to assume extra obligations. Consequently, people in their 30s do not often have a high net worth at this stage of their life. If you're under 35, you should have a median net worth of around $13,900. There is a slight but noticeable improvement over the person you were at age 20. So let's examine the ideal net worth for individuals between the ages of 35 and 44. If you're between the ages of 35 and 44, you need to have around $91,300 in net worth. Your net worth will now start to grow more quickly than in prior years. If you go about things the proper way at this point, you may really start to improve your net worth. You should have started paying off your mortgage, established a career, and begun to receive regular salary increases. Let's examine those aged 45 to 54. If you're between the ages of 45 and 54, you need to have around $168,600 in net worth. As you gain more experience and become more firmly established in your job, your income should be approaching its peak. And this is when you will begin to see a consistent rise. If you've been living simply, you should have a sizable portion of your mortgage paid off and money set aside for retirement by now. You really need to start thinking seriously about opening a retirement account or investing in growth stocks and shares. If you haven't done so by the time you're about 50, if you want to gain from compound interest. Let's look at those who are 55 to 64 years old. The typical net worth for someone between the ages of 55 and 64 is around $212,000. Compound interest is beginning to work for investors who began their portfolios when they were 30 years old. They should have a net worth that is much higher than the median of $212,500. If you don't have an investment portfolio yet, you should still be in this bracket based on house ownership, which should be mortgage-free by this point. Let's now examine those who are 65 to 74 years old. If you're between the ages of 65 and 74, your median net worth should be roughly $266,400. Retirement usually begins at age 65. Thus, at this moment, your net worth will have reached a plateau. It follows that at this age, you will begin to reap the benefits of a lifetime of saving and investing. You ought to be able to enjoy that piña colada while lounging by the pool if you've been routinely investing and saving since you were a little kid, so that you can enjoy your retirement peacefully. Let's look at those who are over 75. At the age of 75, you should have a median net worth of around $254,800. At this time, when you start spending your net worth to pay for your retirement, your net worth begins to fall. As they can no longer work even a tiny amount to bring in more income, this is when individuals truly start to depend totally on the money they have saved and invested over the years. The only thing you need to watch out for is outliving your money in this situation. It's good to indulge yourself sometimes, while still being somewhat frugal with your money, since none of us knows when we'll pass away. Remember that whatever wealth you have accumulated will be handed on to your offspring. Therefore, it is preferable to have too much than not enough. How can you improve your net worth? Don't be concerned if your net worth falls short of the average. I can provide you with some advice on how to boost your net worth, which will help you get back on track, or ideally, put you above typical numbers. 1. Try to pay off your debt as quickly as you can. This is the largest factor affecting your net worth by age, so it should be a top concern. Your net worth will start growing swiftly after you pay off your highest interest loans first and keep continuing until you are debt-free. Second, to put your money to work for you as soon as possible, invest in stocks and shares. Third, make every effort to reduce your spending. Your net worth will constantly rise if you live within your means. There is no difference in wealth between someone with $100,000 in the bank and no debt, and someone with $5 million in the bank and $6 million in debt. Finally, attempt to develop additional revenue streams while launching a side company or even simply putting in more time at your existing job. The sum of it all will help you reach financial independence by raising your net worth. We've reached the end of another video, and thank you for watching. I hope you have learned about the average net worth by Age Wealth Breakthrough. If you like this video, do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Thank you and goodbye!